Right, welcome to another man's point of view. I am your host, the Space Luchador, and today I was gonna do story time, but today I'm gonna do power dynamics. Now, I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and just explain it straight up. No BS, right down the middle, because I tried to talk about this before, and I didn't like the reaction. Everybody got butthurt on the word power for some reason. And then they forgot about dynamics, right? Which, there you go. Now, I do want to clarify this. For some reason, guys are the ones that are fighting on me. So I'm going to throw this out there, okay? You need to stop getting, triggered by words, especially in the relationship world, which kind of explains why you're in that situation in the first place. Just like I spoke about my other video, right? Emotional incest, the same thing. Okay, so let me go ahead and break it down. Right, what is power dynamics? Well, it's a scientific word, right, by the scientists that basically explain what happens in a relationship, all right, between two people, female. It could be whatever you want. Okay, just two people in general. All right, even three or four. Whatever, to each his own. But the what unites all of this is the power dynamics. Now, this could be at work, it could be between friends, whatever you want, however you want it, right? What it means literally is that one person in that relationship or in that group has the power, which is called power dynamics. Now, Space Luchador wants to show you this because it's again another puzzle for you to understand and master your own relationship and situation. Now, let me tell you why this is important. Because, again, the only way it works, okay, all relationships, is if one person has the control of the relationship itself, all right? Which means when you have the control of the relationship itself, you have the control of the other person. Now, I know people don't like to hear the control part, right? But it is what it is. Now, let's change it just in case, somebody doesn't like how I say it, right? But the control is this, all right? The person that is more interested in the other person is the one that's going to be more inclined to agree to literally everything that the other person wants. So you could see that if one person does everything that the other person wants, then that person has the control over clearly the one that's agreeing. Now, what's happening more and more, and this is the reason why I bring it out, okay? What's happening more and more today, and you can see this from top to bottom, poor to rich, right, at all levels, right, in all the countries, all right? What's happening is, apparently, women have now the power in the relationship, which again doesn't work. Now, they claim that that's what they want, right? And they actively go out of their way to get it done, all right, to have the power. But there's so many reasons why that would happen. But I need you to understand that this is at play first before we get there, okay? Which is another puzzle, which I'll explain in due time. But for now, all right, it's the power dynamics. Now, let me show you how it works. This is how it works. And I can show you with an example of like going to eat, right? You say, what do you want to eat, babe? And the only reason you're doing that, though, what do you want to eat, babe, is because you don't have the control over. Now, you think you do, which is the illusion, right? When you say, well, I'm giving her the option. But that's where we mess up, all right? Because you think, well, by me saying, hey, what do you want to eat, babe? All right, what you're actually doing is actually giving up your power and authority. And I know how it sounds. Okay? But you are. You really are. You're kind of just, you're doing so many things at so many levels. But again, we're not there yet. We will get there in due time. But for now, just focus on the simple things like, well, when you ask a woman what she wants to eat, you have now given her the control of clearly what you want to eat. Now, you would think, all right, then And I'm going to use this opportunity to jump to my next segment. So I'm kind of doing 2 videos in one because my other video got disconnected. The ending sucked, so that's why I want to do this one. All right, do this one, right? 2 in 1, all right? 2 in 1 for this video. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and finish this up, all right? Because I'm all over the place, but here we go. When you tell a woman, what do we want to eat? 9 times out of 10, she's gonna say, I don't know. Right? And it makes sense, right? And then you say, well, how about here? So, I don't want that place or whatever. Now, of course, some people are gonna be like, well, that doesn't happen to me in my relationship. No. Then if it doesn't happen to you, then clearly, don't worry about it. Don't try to jump in and try to derail the Space Luchador program, okay? Because that's not how it works, right? That just means you're saying all sorts of things. You're just trying to fight for fighting, right? To have the other. You're trying to make it not absolute, but I'm telling you, this happens all the damn time, and it's not going to end. It's not like you do it one time, right? You invite your girl to eat one time, and then that's it. No, this is for the long run, all right? So let's go back. So power dynamics now. She has the control already because she, believe it or not, she knew you were going to ask her this ahead of time. Now I know how it sounds, right? It sounds like a paradox. And it is, in a way, right? However, this is the beauty of it, that if you can comprehend and understand what I am explaining, okay, you can then have an actual counter to this, or, right, not get it to that position in the first place, which means you would have the control, right, of that relationship again. Okay. Now, and I do want to explain this, all right? If the man has the control over the relationship, the woman will be happy, believe it or not. That's one of the aspects to the happy wife, happy life type thing. Only they're going about it all wrong, because if you're making a woman happy by giving her everything she wants, she actually does not become happy because you're missing the point, all right? Which again, we're not there just yet, okay? But there is a point to all of this, which is why I said it's a puzzle piece, okay? Now let me give you another example, right? Let's say you have to ask permission. You do not have the power in the relationship, right? You gotta ask permission. You gotta be like, well, now you would think, and it makes sense logically, right? That if you, like, some guy came at me about this, right? He's like, well, I have a perfect relationship, right? And then he slipped up when he said, when I go out with my friends, I ask permission from, and there you go. That's where you effed up, right? Because if you're trying to sell me the space that you're asking for permission from your wife or girlfriend or whatever, and and then he comes at me about respect, and then he came at me about the power and the dictatorship, and I'm like, look, relax. Not about it. All that you said there is the way you're taking it, and you're forgetting about the dynamic, right? Which is why this is applied and why it works. Okay, this is why it works, because it can shift, right? Power dynamics shift. Like, let's say this is the woman, right? When you meet the woman, and I'll break it down. It's so simple. Check it out. When you meet the woman, she's here, you're here. Why? Because you want her. Okay? Now eventually I'm gonna get, my spaceship to help out, and I'm gonna have, all the visuals and stuff for you. But for now, I'm gonna use my hands. So, woman, right here, you're right here. When you meet, she's at a higher level because you're the one that's interested, okay? Power dynamics. Now, let's say she says yes. Now you guys are dating. Now you're here. You got the potential from the beginning to go either way, right? You could shift. At some point, this happens, right? Because remember, you are still interested in her, right? Which means, and then it starts like, the gap starts going up like this, the more you F up, okay? The more you F up, the more she has power, the more she understands it, the more she abuses it, and the more she abuses it, the more you get a little foot in your neck, right? And now you can't breathe. But anyways, that's how it works, okay? And of course, we can't do this because this only happens when you are, believe it or not, the man. And by man, I mean the real man. Okay? That's the only way this can happen. Right? Now, there's going to be people that don't believe the space literature, and it's fine. Right? But if you do not agree, I want to hear your counter. Why can't this happen? Right? Explain to me why this is so hard to do this, right? Because remember, if you start from the beginning here, you're interested in her. That doesn't change, all right? So in order for you to have the power, and this is the part where everybody forgets the manosphere, the red pillars, right? The coaches, they all forget about the woman, right? You forget about the women, and you got to understand that the women do have say in it. However, they cannot choose who they love. That's the big ass, not a mystery, not to the space luchador, but it's the big ass over thing that's looked by everybody, right? And it's overlooked by everybody all the time. And women are not going to tell you this, all right? Because it's a secret of how they work, right? They're not about to admit that they have no control over this, okay? They're just not going to admit it. Just like a guy would not admit if you have problems downstairs, right? You're about to, hey, you know what? It's one of those things. Just don't say it, okay? Same thing with the women, okay? They're not going to tell you that they do not have a choice, right? Now I know how it sounds, but I kind of spoiled some of the future stuff, but understand that that's how it is, okay? So now let me go back to the power, right? She needs to love you for this to happen, okay? Now we'll get into how to do that in later videos. No, actually, you know what? I'm gonna get into that now. I'm gonna show you how it works. And I was gonna do a whole separate video, but I'm gonna do it in this one, okay? Now, let me see if I can explain how it works. Because power dynamic, again, that's self-explanatory, right? One, somebody has the power over the other. All right, now whether you like it or not, you want to accept it or not, whatever, right? But that's how it works. And here's another thing: there's a phenomenon. When guys do have the power, they don't know what to do with it, right? They don't know what to do with it because the woman becomes clingy in a way, right? Because she's in love. She loves you, so she almost starts worshiping you, right? And the guy can't handle it. He can't handle it. So he starts sabotaging himself, right? But we'll get into that later. For now, this little thing that I'm gonna call Know Your Role, right? Now, this is how it works, right? There's a little point game system, and that's how I'm gonna call it, right? It's the little point game system. Now let me explain. This is how it works. Us guys think that all the stuff that we do gives us points, right? Which is why we're always confused as guys when, or actually, you know, not me, but there's a lot of guys out there that are really, really, really confused, right? And they get butthurt, and they get hurt, and they get emotional because they think they're owed something, right? They think that they just deserve the best treatment that a woman can give them because they gave some good stuff in the beginning. So you see, they always want the payback part, while we all know, right, that, well, at least for women, right, women say that love is free, when in all reality it ain't. But it's you have to understand what's actually going on. Now I'm gonna try to explain it with the point system game, okay? Let me show you how it works, and then I'll probably do part 2 of this. I can explain a little better now. This is the scoreboard mini game. Okay, this is how it works, right? We guys think, and if you agree or if you have encountered something like this in the past, you can put it in the comments, right? Check it out. We think we get points by buying flowers, right? Opening the door, buying gifts, right? Paying for dinner, taking the girl out on dates. We think we get points, right? However, this can't be further from the truth. This is what happens, and this is why I always say think outside the box, right? When you think outside the box and you understand what's actually going on, this is what's actually going on. You ain't doing nothing different than any other guy ain't doing actively as we speak, right? Even married men, like you ain't doing nothing different. Opening up the door, right? You buy the girl some flowers, you take her on a date, paying for the bills or whatever. You think that kind of counts for points in the women's world. It actually doesn't, because now you have fallen into the realm of, guess what, the nice guy, because that's what nice guys are supposed to do, right? Opening up the door, right? That's why it's called the gentleman, right? Because you open up the door, right? Now this we can all do, even if it ain't your girlfriend. You open up the door, all of a sudden you think, well, right? You feel some sort of way, because that's what we've been trained as guys, right? By society and TV and other guys itself, right? Even women, because now we're taking our cues from women, right? It's like, well, just treat her right, right? Well, what is treat her right? Explain that to me, women. Huh? What is treat her right? Now you'll get all sorts of answers, right, to this, but it usually always comes back to the same old, which is be the nice guy. Now we've all established nice guys finish last, if at all. Right? So there you go. Now I'm gonna end with this, and then I'm gonna continue it for part 2 of this video, right? Because I don't want what happened to me last time happen to me again, which is my video cut off in the middle of recording and I wasn't able to finish it. So let me give you just an example of what women actually give you points on. All right, and then on my next video, I'm gonna start with the mini score game and go break it down all the way, all right, to explain how that works, right? All the little whys, how to do it, how to fix it, why it works, why it doesn't work, and yeah, explain it, break it down, build it up, do all that Space Luchador always does, okay? So here we go. Example number 1, okay? You actually get points, in a date, or whenever you're with your girl, or any girl, period, by guess what? Check this out. And it's so simple. Check it out. By not looking at another woman. Think about that. I mean, I know how it sounds, and I get excited because I'm passionate about this stuff, and I comprehend it and understand it to the most perfect level. I know now why this works. Because, and as a matter of fact, it's a one move that kills all, it's like you kill a bunch of damn birds with one stone. Check it out. When you are not looking at another girl, you're actually looking at the girl you are with, right? So you're killing 2 birds with one stone. All my stuff is 3D chess, okay? That's why I say it's puzzle pieces, okay? And you got to comprehend it and understand it so you can be able to use it. Now let me explain. It's happened to all of us, right? It's happened to myself, right? I've been on dates where you're sitting there, right, and you're ordering dinner or whatever, right? You got your girl cross, you're sitting there, and then the waiter shows up right now. It's a woman waiter in this case, right? Now, this is a scenario that I'm trying to paint so you can understand what I'm saying, right? She comes up, says, how you doing? Good night, right? What would you like to order? Now, this waiter happens to be smoking hot. Now, your date may be smoking hot too, but here's the facts are the facts. This is it. Right? Your eyes will betray you, and you will try to look at that smoking hot waiter's ass. Now, there's going to be some guys, I would never. Yes, you would, so shut up. You know you would. Don't lie to me. I'm a man just like, I'm a man's man, so I would know. I'm just happen to be a man, and I would gladly admit it. Yes, I do. My eyes do betray me here and there, and I got ego eyes, so, I see what I see, and that's it, right? Like, it's just is what it is, right? So for me here to sit there and tell you that my eyes do not are looking mostly, all the time, right? But it is what it is. But that's the reason women do what they do, right? It's not like they look all good and go out there in the world just because with that fake ass. I just want to feel like no. They're doing it for a reason, and they ain't gonna admit it. Okay. So, anyways, I don't want to go off on it. So the point is, when you pay attention to your girl, right, by not looking at another girl, your girl's actually looking at you, and she's actually testing you at the same time. Believe it or not, right? Because she knows. Here's what's crazy about all of this, which is why I'm passionate about it at the same time. What's crazy is that for some reason, like, we try to act like women don't know what we really are, all right? And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we do as guys. Like, we sit there and think that women don't know the truth. Women know the truth. Trust me, they know the truth because they live it every day. You know how many guys they encounter every single day? Now we think they're just like us, right? But we go out there in the world and nobody can care less if we're walking down the street or not. However, have you ever thought about a woman, especially a 10? I'm talking smoking hot. She could be dressed like shit. It don't matter. Us guys have eagle eyes, and we know that she's fine as hell, no matter how shitty she's dressed. All right, it just is what it is. Now, if you don't have those abilities, I suggest you work on those abilities, right? But nonetheless, so they deal with this all the time, so they know what we are. As a matter of fact, they expect us to be, which is why it goes right back to what I said. What they're looking for is a real man, okay? And you're not a real man if what you claim to be is a nice guy, right? Or I would never do that. I don't do that. As a matter of fact, I don't like women. Come on, man. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay? They know you're bullshitting them. Now, I've said this in the past, right? Pussy radar is a real thing, and I might have to do a video on that alone to explain that, right? It's called this. What's that called? Sixth Sense. Women know this, right? They know if you're cheating, right? They know if you don't love them. They know if you're tired, right? They know if you're mad. They just know, okay? It's called feelings, okay? And they're just way better at it than us. Like, we look at them and they're like, oh, well, I guess she's sad. We just don't know what the hell, right? We just, oh, it's whatever. To them, they somehow already have a hunch and know what it is. But strangely enough, they're actually more interested in the actual emotion, which I will explain in due time, okay? That's a whole nother level. Ain't ready for that just yet, okay? So where was I? Oh yeah, the mini game. So here I'll give you another example, and I'll end with this before my video goes too long on this one. So here we go. And this kind of goes into the same thing, okay? Notice how she looks. Now notice, or actually if you catched what I said, right? Do not look at another girl, therefore you're looking at her. Now remember, here's what I said. Example number two of how you can get some points is notice how she looks like, okay? That way, again, we fix all these problems that we have at the beginning. Like when we get the big question, well, you remember that day, right? When your girl says, you remember that day we went out to that one restaurant? You're like, oh shit, yeah. And she goes, what dress was I wearing? And you're like, oh shit, well, were you wearing a dress? And then it's all goes down the shitter, right? That's how it starts, right? But in all reality, she's just testing you to see if you remember, right? Now, why this happens, and well, I do know why it happens, but it's random. It never stops. I'll just tell you that it's never gonna stop, and there is a reason why they do it. I kind of just explained it, right? Because they're testing you to see if you had paid attention on that date before. Now, the reason why this might happen, and I don't want to complicate it, but this is what women do, right? They'll tell a friend, or even in their head, they'll play the damn date again and be like, I'm not sure he loves me or whatever. So she's playing this whole novella in her mind about the date she had with you in the past. Now she's convinced that you may have or may not have not actually paid attention to her, and it just pops in her head on that day, months later. Oh, I know. I'm gonna ask him, what was I wearing, right? Because it's just this beautiful system, and I'll call it that because it is a system that makes them the way they are. That's just the way they are. You just, once you understand how it works, why it works, and all of that, then it all just starts clicking, right? But it's a fail-safe to being a woman, if that makes any sense at all, right? But it's a way for them to test you, test the relationship, and test her decision making in what she's gonna do moving forward from that situation. And again, it depends on you and what the move that you do, all right? Which again, I think I might have overcomplicated it, but that's basically how it works. Okay, now again, I will break it down in future videos. I've gone past my time. I don't want it to end abruptly, so we're gonna go ahead and end this video for today. I do want to say what's up to my my new subscribers. Get ready for new stuff. I'm gonna start going off on all sorts of stuff, and I'm gonna connect all this stuff together so you can finally see what I'm actually trying to explain. And I'm trying to explain this, all right? The answer to all your problems, and by this I mean all, is to become a real man. The full extent of the word, okay? It doesn't mean aggression. It doesn't mean power, right? None of that dictatorship crap of how tough I am. None of that stuff, or high value. None of that, right? I will explain. It's all little things. It's little things. You don't have to be this big ass tyrant or king of the world to get this done. Remember, your kingdom is your relationship. That's your kingdom, your house, right? So those guys that think, well, I need to be the high value man, make 30,000, 50, 300,000 a year, and 2 big ass mansions and stuff like that. That's an illusion. It's a lie. That's not needed, right? For think of this, for even a homeless man has a woman, believe it or not. So there you go. Not a good woman, but a woman nonetheless. So Space Lucha out on this one. I'll see you on the next one.